Welcome to 5 Minutes of PMA with Patty. I'm your devoted host, Patty Stuhlin. So, what would it be that the universe revealed to me today? Endings. So, let's dive into endings. Or should I say, let's start at the beginning of endings. Since I can remember, I have never really enjoyed endings. With that being said, as I thought about what to talk about on this topic and the ideas of what type of endings I would be referring to, I began to realize that each ending is just the beginning of something new. However, at the time the ending is happening, that certainly isn't where my brain is going with being happy for something new to begin. From an early age, playing with friends and visiting families, it would make me sad that the time together had come to an end. But usually before we parted, there would be talk about our next adventure together, and that would get me all excited for the next thing that would be happening. From kindergarten to senior year in high school, I'd be so sad the final month of that school year because I knew that I would not have that teacher anymore or the same classmates the following year. It was another ending that for a brief moment in time, even though at the time it felt like an eternity, I didn't know how I would survive. And with every new school year, I would fall in love with my new teacher or teachers and meet some new and wonderful friends. When I was 13 years old, my great grandmother passed away. It was the first time for me to be exposed to the death of a loved one. I took it very hard. I knew at that age what her death meant, the ending of her love, her laughter, her giving me a 50-cent piece each time I saw her. My mom, seeing that I was having a difficult time with this ending, one day told me the story of my great grandmother's life. I had heard bits and pieces, but never the way my mom told the entire story. My great grandmother, I knew, was blind in one eye and wore special glasses to cover up that eye. I also knew that she wore very heavy makeup, and I could see the scars on her head. And for me, it was no big deal. I never questioned it. My mom had told me that my great grandmother had been born with a very red birthmark that covered one side of her face, and that was why she wore such heavy makeup. She was also involved in a major car accident that left her blind in one eye, and the list of injuries she sustained were immense. It was a miracle she survived. She endured many operations and many setbacks along the way. For my mom, she was at peace with her passing, knowing that her grandmother was given so many extra years of life after this horrific accident, and knew she was out of pain from the after effects of the accident. She was no longer suffering. With the way my mom described death to me, and that my great grandmother was now in heaven and her body was restored, I could see that it was a new beginning for her. Not that I was now happy, but it did bring me comfort. Endings come in all shapes and sizes, and at all different levels of importance in our lives. As I have gotten older, I have begun to realize that famous quote, when one door closes, another door opens. This quote is absolutely true. However, I have also learned that it is important to go through the grieving process of whatever the ending may be in order for us to have a greater understanding of what could be behind that next door opening. Our favorite shows that come to an end, as sad as it can be, is now the opportunity for us to discover a show that is just as good, if not better, than the one that just ended. And the same can be said about relationships. Learning that these relationships may only be for a season of time, as difficult as it has been for me to have a relationship in, I have then taken the time to grieve that relationship and then kick into PMA mode and look for the life lessons learned from that relationship, and then use those lessons to grow from and improve my existing relationships and future relationships. Bottom line, endings are difficult and many times sad and depressing. We we just need to acknowledge our sadness, have our pity party, and as I have heard it said, just don't pitch a tent there. Learn the lesson and grow from it. Before you know it, a new beginning is right around the corner. An ending is the start of a new beginning. I mean, come on. How exciting is that? If you're looking for a new beginning in life or in travel, connect with me and let's have a chat. My information is below in this week's episode description. My quote this week is from Mike Fisher. Endings are always tough, but I believe when something ends, there are new beginnings, new opportunities, and new things to be excited for, too. Here's to living your best dash. Life's an adventure. Enjoy the journey because your life matters. May God bless you all.